Hey everybody, Invisiblekatana here, and unfortunately, today I would like to discuss Capcom's incredibly lacking production quality. And this is more so just producing, not just like the quality of the things they create, not the actual quality of the products, but producing products in general. Their issues with actually making enough of the things that we want as fans of this franchise. And this is because today, and I'm just gonna tell you the date, it is currently February 11th, 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm late for work. But a little bit earlier, I got my special little email from Amazon saying, hey, we're canceling that steelbook. Go fuck yourself. Obviously they didn't say that, but they could, because you know, they got $1 trillion. It's $1 trillion company. But Capcom just didn't make enough. And I'd seen a post a couple days ago where another company like straight up put it on their Facebook page like, hey, unfortunate news, but we won't be able to fulfill everybody's orders because Capcom didn't make enough. Like, that was straight up what they said. Like, we've heard that Capcom did not make enough of this product, so we'll let you guys know if that changes. And that was before I was even able to get a pre-order on Amazon, where it kind of just popped up. A coworker of mine, he was like, hey, it's up on Amazon. I was like, holy crap. Went and got it, like as soon as he texted me, said my order was in, I was super happy. And then the first little bit of news I saw was that some people were like, dang, my thing says it's coming in March. And I was like, oh crap, am I gonna have to buy this game twice? You know, like it was like a real question, like, am I really gonna do this? Am I gonna spend this much money just to have the physical edition? You know, just because, you know, it's really just the steelbook more than anything. And I think two little lenticular postcard size posters. So that was a thought. And then of course, like I said, Amazon made the decision. Well, technically, I'm not blaming Amazon. Capcom had already made the decision. I don't even know what was going on. You know, obviously they opened it up for pre-orders because they probably got like 11 new sets in there, and it was like, hey, we can open up pre-orders now. And then it was like, hey, we got to cancel this. So shout out to the people that at the very least got it in March. At least they get to make a decision if they want to, you know, buy the game twice. But yeah, that really sucked. I was super excited because, of course, you know, I felt stupid. I was like, man, it came out, it was a physical deluxe edition. I didn't think much of it. I was like, I didn't really have the money right at the time, but I wasn't even in a rush because I'm like, okay, it's a physical deluxe edition. There's no way that that's gonna sell out that fast. And then it sold out everywhere. I'm like, dude, it's just a physical deluxe. How did they not make enough of these? There's not even that much to make. Like, honestly, the production from regular to deluxe edition should genuinely be like 80%. Like 80% of whatever they made regular, if they made 1 million, there should be 800,000 deluxe editions. And I can almost guarantee that that is not the case. Obviously, I don't have the actual numbers, but just think about everything they've done. We've been dealing with this since the Resident Evil 2 remake, where they're just like, okay, GameStop exclusive. That in itself was the main problem, because it's like, okay, so you made like what, 200 of them? Like, honestly, why would you make the collector's edition of a franchise? I forgot what year we were, I think it was 2019, but we were past the 20th anniversary. You're 20 something years in, and you're like, hey, what if we just did GameStop exclusive? That's the only place you can buy the collector's edition, which means it's definitely going to be less made, because if they made it for everywhere, they would make more. So if you have it exclusive to one location, you know you're going to make less. So that was stupid. And then they did it again with the Resident Evil 3 remake. And then I'm pretty sure they did it again with Resident Evil Village. 4, I believe, was different. Honestly, I stopped buying them after the third one anyway. But I'm pretty sure for Village it was still GameStop exclusive. And I'm not sure with 4, because like I said, I literally didn't even check. But it's ridiculous to me that that was how it started. And now we're at the point of even a digital deluxe edition, you can't really get physical without it being an issue. Like, I was able to get one for, and I mentioned this in another video, it might not even be up yet, but I was talking about how this is, you know, the 30th anniversary game for RE9, but there wasn't one for the 25th, but it was actually Resident Evil 8, which did the same thing that Resident Evil 9 did. They had a physical deluxe edition. And because I actually got mine from Best Buy, I actually got a steelbook for RE8, but I was able to get the physical, you know, deluxe version. And I don't think I did anything special. I don't think it was like insanely early or anything like that, but I don't remember 100%. It also was just a regular case that said deluxe edition on it. It wasn't like it is now, where like the physical deluxe for RE9 is guaranteed, like, hey, this comes with the steelbook. I literally only got a steelbook for RE8 because I bought it from Best Buy. I think the same thing happened with Resident Evil 2, where for whatever reason, Best Buy was just like the place where they would just throw in a steelbook. Like, hey, if you buy it, we'll just give you a steelbook if you want. And it's like, okay, well, I'll get it from Best Buy then. So that's the only reason I even have that for RE8. But I just got the digital, or physical deluxe edition of the game. RE9 comes out 5 years later. It's the 30th anniversary version, or 30th anniversary game. And it's the same thing. Physical, digital, deluxe. And they don't make enough for people to buy it. And it goes in line with a lot of things I've already said throughout the month, and I've been saying forever, where it's like, hey, and we've all said it. I mean, here's probably the greatest example. Capcom doesn't care that much about money because they won't put the original games on a physical disc. 1, 2, and 3. That's all you got. Slap it on the disc. Pick one version, because I had an idea where it's like, it would be amazing if they put like every version of every game, but they're not going to do that. But even that would be less work, 25% of the work, probably less than making a brand new game. Slapping one version, just be like, basically make the GameCube version, or heck, whatever the actual current PS5 version is, whatever it's a port of, or remake of, or whatever, or update from. 1, 2, and 3, slap it on the disc. Have the cool PS5 feature where you can rewind and technically save wherever you want. Just do that on the disc, boom. Sell like gangbusters. But they don't do that. We've been asking for that for a million years. It's one thing that we want the remake of Dino Crisis. Once again, that's in line with making a brand new game. At this point, it would be a brand new game. That's fine. It still sucks that we don't have it. But it's like, yeah, that takes time. That takes time to make that kind of money and officially do that. But slapping Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 on a disc is super simple. They could have done that a million years ago. People would have been happy. They would have had a buttload of money from it too, because all you would have to do is put 3 games on a disc. Easy as can be. But they don't do it. When they make games, they don't make enough. It's like, how do you not make enough of the deluxe edition for a 30-year-long franchise? 30 years. How do you fuck that up? That's insane. Since I'm swearing, it's not like Mr. Rogers, I'm swearing, children. But if you listen to my channel, I very rarely swear. Every once in a while, there's something that deserves a swear. So since I already dropped an F-bomb, I just want to slide in a quick fuck EA for canceling Dead Space twice. Haven't said that in a hot minute, so I wanted to get that in there. But I don't understand how you can be a company that's going on for decades, has multiple franchises that are decades old, and you're currently celebrating the 30th anniversary of, I mean, honestly, I would say Resident Evil is their biggest franchise. It sold the most copies when it comes, regardless of which game sold the most, because it's technically 5 and 6. But it's like, it's their biggest franchise, and they're doing great. So it doesn't even matter, that 5 and 6 were what they were. They figured all that out. We've got 7, we got 8, we got the remakes 2, 3, and 4. Granted, 3 was, crappy, but we're in a good position. I'm excited for RE9. I'm super excited. I was looking forward to having this deluxe edition. And this goes into another element where, and I've heard other people mention this too, but it's a little crazy. It's beyond a little, but it's a little crazy that for the 30th anniversary, they don't have the collector's edition ready. They were like, oh, we're not gonna do it, but they are gonna do it. They just split it up because they didn't have the production ready. So they're just putting the figures out later in the year. It's exactly the same. I guess technically, since it's only the figures, they wouldn't have like the art book and, like whatever random map that they would make or whatever. So it's just one of those weird things where it's like, you are basically doing the collector's edition, but you didn't plan ahead. That's how it feels, because I'm like, you're doing the exact same figures. And here's the super funny thing. The figures that they have the Grace and Leon figure, which are basically just collector's edition figures. They're the exact same thing for the amiibo. Like, they're not different in any way, shape, or form. They're just smaller, which is why I'm like, well, I wasn't gonna get the figures anyway, because they're insanely overpriced. They're like 100 and something a piece, which is ridiculous. And they also, I don't know if you guys know this, but they don't even come out on the same day. I think Grace comes out first, and then Leon comes out later, or maybe vice versa. I wouldn't be surprised if Leon came out first, because they're like, hey, we want, it's Leon. But they come out like a couple of months apart, like 2 months apart or something crazy like that. And I think it's September and then November. And it's like, that's insane. You're basically still doing the collector's edition. You're just, kind of taking some stuff out and just being like, hey, here's the steelbook by itself if you want to do the physical deluxe. And then here are the figures by themselves. And then that's pretty much it. And then, like I said, the amiibos are just crappier versions of those larger figures, which I never thought they looked that great anyway. I love my Jill figure because it's Jill Valentine, that's my lady. So Jill Valentine, I got Leon from 2. I've always said this, I was like, man, if they had a choice where you could get Leon or Claire, I would have bought the Claire figure 100%. Like I would have bought that. It would have been way cool, it would have stood out more. But I was like, I got those and they look nice enough, but especially separately, they're not worth it. They're definitely not worth it. And maybe they knew, they're like, well, we aren't gonna do both characters. They aren't gonna do separate versions where it's like, hey, buy this collector's edition is Leon, this collector's edition is Grace. They wouldn't have done that, but they didn't want to do smaller figures, so they just did 2 regular size figures. And maybe they decided, in advance. It's possible, obviously I'm not behind the scenes, but it's like either they didn't have this stuff planned out, which I would still argue that because of the fact that they don't come out to the end of this year, which is insane. Like, it would be one thing if it was like, hey, we're not doing a collector's edition, but you can buy the figures, and maybe like a week or something, like a month after release date, sure. It's like just within that window because they want to make sure the production is good or whatever. Once again, still, it was like you had more than it. You knew you were making the game. You had the design set up probably a decent little while ago. I mean, heck, the game was announced a year ago, so it was like pretty much less than a year ago. And it's like, there's stuff that you guys knew was gonna happen. You could go tariffs, you could go production, all the generic crap we've been dealing with for the last couple of years that have affected kind of everything technology-wise. But it's really crazy to me that it's the end of the year. It's not like a little ways away, it's the end of the year. The game comes out in a couple weeks for me. Well, actually, yeah, I'm gonna post this soon because this is one worth upload. I got like a bunch of stuff that I have set up, but this is gonna be coming out very soon. I might even end up uploading this today because I made sure to get the footage. I didn't think I'd be able to use this footage that you guys are seeing. So if you've been watching it, you've been seeing me just die over and over and over again in Nemesis. I didn't think I'd even be able to utilize that footage in a way that was appropriate, but it is the perfect footage to represent the frustration I'm having right now. Because let me tell you, I was frustrated trying to make that junk work. It is hard to dodge in that tiny little space. But perfect use of that footage, just sheer frustration. Because I just don't understand how a company that has a franchise that's lasted for 30 effing years, I'm not entirely certain what the exact number of years is for Street Fighter, but it's super effing close. Actually, Street Fighter's older, because that came out on Super Nintendo. So you got two franchises, 30 years plus, and this is how things are still being done, where it's like, it's Resident Evil. It's 30 years. Like I said, the production should have been like, whatever the regular version of RE9 is, you make 1 million copies, 80% of that, not 80% of like the entire production, but like you get 1 million regular copies, that you take 80% of that, and that's how many you make of the deluxe edition. You make 800,000 effing copies of the deluxe edition. It's like the one time I need somebody to be greedy, it's effing Capcom. I'm like you guys are the one company I need to be greedy and overconfident and make a ridiculous amount of stuff that's not gonna officially sell out. But instead, you make like 20, and then all the scalpers pop up and take everything. It's like, come on, because I've seen it on eBay. It's like $135, if I'm not mistaken, which admittedly isn't the worst price. If we're going scalper prices, that's not that bad. I mean, it's basically $100 anyway. It's like, okay, if I'm being totally honest, if I'm being fair, $135 is only like a $40 increase. It's not that bad. It's gonna get worse once that person ends up selling out and realizes, what they really got. But $135 is not really that bad, all things considered. But still, scalped. And it's just like, that's where we are. That's where we always are. I saw for anyone who doesn't know, that there are GameStop exclusive Resident Evil controller holders. They're like $30. I think I bought one because I saw it and I was like, only Resident Evil will make me buy an effing, controller holder. But I think it looks cool. It's like the Resident Evil sign that they made for like the remake of 2, where it says like, welcome to Raccoon City, home of Umbrella. And I got mine in yesterday and I love it. I thought it was cool. It's a very simple little thing. It cost me like $33. I saw it on eBay already for like $75. I'm like, these aren't even sold out. Do not buy. And it said like 9 sold or something crazy. I was like, do people even look? I'm like, it's not even sold out yet. I mean, it's possible that it could be, but I'm like, I doubt. I don't think it's sold out yet. I don't. And it's like $33. I thought it was worth it just to have like a little cool Resident Evil thing, but absolutely insane. And now we have this steelbook situation, and getting the email that my stuff was canceled was so crappy, because I had already kind of been like, dang, I was checking and be like, man, I hope it pops up. I hope it pops up. got that text from my buddy, and it was like, holy crap, I'm gonna do it now. And then he texted me earlier this morning like, hey, they canceled my thing. I was like, yep, I got the same message. And it's just like, how is it that a company just doesn't make enough? It just makes no sense. It's not an indie game. It's Resident Evil. They got 1 billion effing games. We're on the 9th numbered title, and then there's like 8 trillion effing side games. And it's just like, this is where we are right now. We're still dealing with people like myself, just being like, I just wanted the game. I just wanted to get it physical. I wanted to get it because, of course, it was a special edition. I actually really like the art for the steelbook. It's very simple with the gun on the front and like the newspaper on the back. But for some reason, I just really like it. It's honestly extremely simple. It doesn't even have an effing character on it, but it looks really cool to me. Like I don't know. It's just a great design, and that's it. Everything else I can still get, and I will, because of course, now that this is the case, I might make an attempt to just wait. I probably will wait until like the last minute to pre-order it, because I do want to get like my extra bonus costume. But other than that, it's like, okay, it was just the physical, and I was willing to pay the extra. I mean, it came out to like $100. I was willing to do that because it's my favorite franchise on earth. I'm willing to get it. I obviously, like everybody else that got their orders canceled or aren't going to get the game in time. I'm sure there's some people that got it where Amazon was like, hey, your thing's going to get delivered in like March or something like that. I'm sure those people have a tough choice to make, because not everybody has like an extra $100, where it's like, am I going to wait a couple weeks for Resident Evil 9 to, if you cared enough to get the physical deluxe, are you going to wait that extra time? You might not have the money. You might be like, I'll give this up just to play the game earlier, because technically when it comes down to it, the game is going to be more important, and you're going to want to play it in advance. For me personally, I'm actually going to be like streaming and recording and stuff, so I'm definitely like, I want to do it day one so I can have all of my stuff. And I got kids, so like that is my set. This is one of those things where it's like, that's like my set weekend. I'm expecting to play that game for the weekend and just be like, this is the time I got, and then after that is it's back to real life. So that is like the rare occurrence when the super rare occasion of like a very specific game comes out, and it's like, okay, I have to declare this is something I'm actually asking for. I don't ask for like like being left alone and all that stuff. Is like, sometimes like, dad has to play this effing game. This is important to me. It is one of those very rare circumstances where I like really want the time for my games. And this is like the number one time. It's Resident Evil. That is when it happens. Like, I always make a funny post where I'm like, Resident Evil comes out on this date. You do not know me. That is what I always post. And I probably need to update that and make sure people understand. Like, don't contact me February 20th. Actually, technically, I'm going to go to work on the 27th. But, for that weekend, don't bother me. And that Monday, because I'm definitely taking that Monday off, do not bother me. Like, don't bother me. Don't bother me. 3-day weekend, baby. 3-day weekend. But it is really a shame that this is where we are when it comes to a 30-year-old franchise. Not even the collector's edition, just a steelbook, basically. It would mean a steelbook, and I think like they got like some little postcards in there, and that's it. And they couldn't make enough of those for people to buy them. That's crazy to me. It's not like you buy it and then you get the physical regular version of the case, and it it comes like in a cool little 2-pack where it's like, hey, here's the regular case and here's the deluxe edition case where it's the steelbook as well. It's not like that. It's not like you bought the collector's edition of the game and then you actually got both. It's like, no, you're just getting the steelbook. I think it has a slipcover on it, and that's it. Everything else is just little cards with numbers on them, numbers and letters, so you can do all the digital stuff anyway, and that's really it. And it's crazy to me that it's like, it's just, we didn't make enough. You're Capcom. Capcom. Come on now. You didn't make enough for Resident Evil's 30th anniversary. It's super disrespectful. I mean, heck, the only company that's probably more disrespectful to anniversaries is Nintendo, because they don't do crap. Like, Legend of Zelda literally got nothing. It's like, dang, that's effed up. So, at least we're getting something. But man, that is absolutely insane. That is absolutely insane. So, wanted to make this video. Unfortunately, when I got that, I was just like, man, I literally couldn't go back to sleep. That's how I was maybe. Technically, I only got up like maybe 20-30 minutes early. But I was like, dang, normally I could see something, I'll be right back to sleep like in an instant. And I saw that and I was just like, man, that one got me. I was like, I'm not gonna have my physical. Most likely, a rare, insane circumstance, I'm still gonna check. We'll see what happens with Best Buy. If they pop something up, I'll put it, put in the bid. We'll see what we'll see what happens. And if it's legit, then I'll ride up there and I'll pick up my game. But this is ridiculous, and that really sucks. It sucks that I had the hope, and they hit me with an end game. Like, don't give me hope, and they did, and that's effed up. But I would love to know your thoughts. If you're in the same boat as me, which I know a buttload of people are, because that's how they've been doing all these effing Resident Evil games. If it's anything special, they make like 20 of them, and it's like, oh, sorry, we didn't think you guys wanted it. It's, what? Come on. And maybe it just flows in line with the fact that they never give us merch anyway, so they just never understand how much we would actually buy. Maybe that's a part of it, because they don't ever make anything. Like, you can't get anything for Resident Evil. It's ridiculous. 30 years in, and you can hardly buy anything Resident Evil related. And I've said this before, every anniversary is like, hey, you guys want t-shirts? Like, you guys can't make anything else? Like, well, we can make these expensive effing watches. Like, no. But that's where we are. 30 years in, and we're still like, you guys just didn't make enough, huh? That's crazy. Absolutely insane. But I would love to know your thoughts and feelings. I'm gonna get the game, obviously. If I get the excessively fortunate fortune of getting it physical, that would be great. But I'm getting that game. I'm gonna get it digital, and I'll be happy. Obviously, once I'm playing the game, I'll just be like, man, it sucks. I wish I got my physical, because that would just be cool. But I'm gonna be happy either way. Maybe when I'm super rich, I'll go backwards and I'll be like, you know what, let me just go ahead and pick this bad boy up. But as of now, it just really sucks, because I thought there was a chance. And then it was like, yeah, Capcom just didn't make enough. That is insane to me. It's the 30th anniversary. Honestly, with the 30th anniversary, if they make a game on any anniversary, that should be the only version. How about that? How about from the future onward, if it's 35 years, Resident Evil 10 comes out. Only steelbook. If it's physical, it's a steelbook. How about that? Like, I know that might seem crazy, but in all honesty, doesn't that make more sense than people being upset? It's Resident Evil. It's worth the money. I mean, let's also be honest. I know this goes way into the company thing. They could afford it. If every version was a steelbook, they literally wouldn't even lose money on it. Games cost $70 effing. If you only made it the physical edition, physical deluxe edition, they wouldn't do that because of the whole money element, because they would definitely make it like $80 or whatever. But at the same time, it's like, would you really lose that much money? If anyone that doesn't want it would go digital. But it's also Resident Evil, It's like, I don't know. But like I said, I want to know your thoughts. Where you guys are at, just... Because it's like with the 5th time. All the exclusive stuff, GameStop, all that crap. It's like, it's not this is the first time. It's just consistently, they keep effing up and doing this. So I would love to know your thoughts. Where you guys are sitting at, were you able to get the physical? Congrats if you are. Are you in that middle ground where it might come in March, so you're debating? Are you like me, where you thought you had a chance, and then it was just like, nah, it's canceled? I would love to know where you guys are at in terms of being able to get the game physically or digitally. And just where you guys are in general. Had you already given up at this point because of like the last couple of games where they're like, yeah, we just suck at doing this production-wise? I would love to know your thoughts on all things Capcom production in that department. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.